with less talk about the action in the heavyweight division. There is a fight that should be considered for a third go-around, and that would be a bout between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. It would make for a trilogy between the two. Let's talk about it.
So that'll give him a bit of energy. Yeah. Oh, that's good night. It's all over.
When it was recently announced that Tyson Fury would go ahead with a December bout against his old nemesis, Derek Chisora, it got me to thinking. He initially reached out to Anthony Joshua's camp, but they weren't willing to take the fight at this time, though they considered it. Joshua, who's coming off of 2 losses back-to-back against Alexander Usyk, may want to put himself in a position to face opposition that can help not only build confidence, but put him on track toward trying to improve. His record of 24-3 with 22 KOs is at jeopardy. So how about Andy Ruiz Jr., who's 35-2 with 22 KOs and an upset victory over Joshua himself? This would be the type of fight that can put things straight for both men, because when they faced each other originally, it was Ruiz who was stepping in as an opponent replacement back in June of 2019 when Jarrell Big Baby Miller popped dirty for PEDs. So the Joshua camp scrambled for an opponent, and they selected Andy. But I don't believe they did their homework on Andy, because Andy had shown in prior fights that he is a good fighter, and that the look of his body is deceiving. First off the bat would be Andy's tremendous hand speed. The man has hand speed as if he were the super middleweight. And this was what stunned and surprised Joshua when they faced each other in that first go-around. The thing about Andy Ruiz is, because he's kind of small in stature as far as heavyweights go today, standing at the height of, they say 6'2", but I believe Andy is probably closer to somewhere between 5'11" and 6 feet tall. He has a 74-inch reach. He's 33 years old. However, he does carry the weight and bulk of a heavyweight. He doesn't have tremendous knockout power, but his hand speed is very deceptive, and it puts him in places to be victorious in fights. Joshua, who's 6'6", has an extended reach advantage over Andy, and he failed to use it the first time that they faced one another. Joshua now is 33 years old himself with an 82-inch reach, but he has not mastered how to fight from medium range. So there was Andy's opportunity the first go round to have an advantage. Now in their rematch, Andy came in woefully out of shape, and he wasn't able to move, cut the ring off, and be as aggressive as he needed to be against Joshua, as he came in at 283.5 pounds. During their first fight, he was only 268. Andy typically fights around north of 250 pounds. I'm of the belief that if he were to get down closer to 235 pounds himself, he would be electrifying. He believes he doesn't have the strength at that weight. I believe he doesn't want to push the plate back. But such is the case. If a fighter isn't interested in fighting at his optimum, then there's not much you can do about that. But that first fight against Joshua really showed something. Andy was dropped early in that fight, and he got up to go after Anthony Joshua, and he was in a position to surprise Joshua with combinations, something that the big heavyweights aren't doing as much these days. They are not throwing punches in combinations. And that's what Andy was able to do, stunning Joshua, flooring him several times in their fight. Now, this is the thing about these two men facing each other for a third time. In order to be able to advance from where they both are, both have had some success since facing each other the first time, though Joshua has recently dropped 2 in a row to Alexander Usyk. They need to overcome whatever it is between them. The first fight was considered a fluke. Joshua faced Andy in a rematch, fought at distance, and waltzed his way to a decision against a woefully out of shape Andy, and who was very unmotivated, believe it or not, for their rematch. The third fight could possibly turn into a battle of wills. This is something that would set the record straight between both men, because it would be a chance for them to approach this fight with complete sincerity, seriousness, and looking to best the other guy. I do believe that Joshua feels he got one over on Andy in that second fight, especially since he was so out of shape, and Andy was embarrassed. It will be a chance for him to turn things around and show that it was not a fluke, he defeating Joshua that first time. Andy is the type of fighter who can fight big men very well, and Joshua is no different. I can remember when Andy defeated Alexander Dimitrienko, whom he fought before he faced Joshua back in 2019, and he pummeled Dimitrienko in a 5-round fight that saw him just beating on the gentleman until the ref had to step in, and the corner stopped it after the fight was over. But this is the thing about that. Joshua has to come in with something better than he brought that first go around, and including the second fight. If he fights Andy like he fought Usyk in their rematch, there's a great chance that Joshua can be successful. If he fights timid like he did in the rematch, he is not going to be able to stand up toward what Andy will bring. And Andy will go for it. That's the one thing about him, is he will take chances. It doesn't matter how big Joshua is, how strong he may appear to look, but it's about what's on the inside. And I believe that Andy would test Joshua in a third fight, and Joshua would either have to step up to the plate or wither like a flower passing at the end of the season. What do you think about this? Do you want to see, when they talk about rematches and trilogies in this current stage of heavyweights, these two men get it on for a third and final time? I would like to see it. This is Stormy B, man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about these two men getting it on for a third time. More interest than Fury against Chisora for certain. That's all I have for you at this time. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.